And welcome to this edition of Headlines. I am Frankie Darcell of 105.3 WDAS, and of course, you can join us on the YouTube channel and on the podcast at WDASFM.com. Well, that time is almost here. May 21st is Election Day, and voila. Look what I was able to do. I'm impressed with myself. I've got the Honorable Mayor Jim Kenney in the conversation with us to talk about the state of the city of Philadelphia and the fact that you are up for re-election.
Yes, I am.
First of all, let me say hello. Thank you for allowing me in your space.
No, it's fine. I told you I love coming out to the studio, so
yeah,
you know, this is different, but yeah, it's enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I got to tell you, now this is the promise. Now that we're actually being recorded, so I can play the tape back if it never happens. You promise that you're going to come into the studio. You're going to host the show. I'm going to let you sit in my seat.
Oh, I can't do that.
No, I'm going to let you sit in my... Let me run the city for a day. No.
You can work 1 week?
No. To run the city, right? So the election is on May 21st. A couple of questions I want to ask you. I've had the opportunity to interview some of the other candidates as well. So 3 questions that I'm asking each of the candidates, and then we'll give you an opportunity as well to talk about your platform, the city of Philadelphia, and where we're going. How do you propose, and we talked about it prior to starting the show, dealing with the crime rate right now in the city of Philadelphia, where we are, and where do you see the city going?
Well, first of all, the crime rate, other than shootings and homicide, which are extremely serious problems, the crime rate is at a 40-year low on all the other crimes. Our spike has been in shootings and in sadly homicides. One homicide is one too many, and you know, we sometimes play these numbers games with the number of people. You know, each one of those folks represent a family, represent you know, community, represent people who love them, and both sides. The people who were shot or perhaps killed, their life is over forever. Their families never changed, or is changed forever. And the person who did the shooting is probably going to go away for the rest of their lives, and their families are suffering also. We have to figure out a way, and we've started doing this with education. The quality pre-K program that we have in place now has about 4,000 plus children in a quality pre-K in their neighborhood, being taught by people from the neighborhood who have run businesses, family businesses for generations. And that's paid for by the beverage tax. And I know people are upset with the beverage tax, but everybody likes pre-K. And it's the only way we can pay for it. So we start out early education and try to get these young people ready for school, ready for success. But we have other folks who have not had that experience, and they're the ones that are on the street, hustling, doing the things they have to do to survive, and wind up in trouble or wind up, you know, injured or killed as a result of having to make a living. So we have to figure out a way to get them into training programs, into addiction services, and away from the street. And we've had a pilot program out in Southwest in the 12th district, the captain out there came up with, where the officers go out, not aggressively, but engage these young people on the corners where they are, and talk to them about job training and job placement. We have about 60 young men that are now in full-time employment as a result of that one program. We're retooling our workforce development efforts to try to get people into community college and get them trained, certified, licensed, so that they can make a living. We're working with the construction trades. We're working with the International Longshoremen's Association, Longshore Person Association, let's say longshoremen, to get these young folks trained and to get them into jobs based on their skill level, and get them to a job where they can make $40, $50 an hour with benefits, as you can make it on the waterfront. And then we've started Operation Pinpoint, which is we're monitoring social media and we're monitoring police intelligence. We're trying to figure out who's at risk, because these young people, they talk to each other or threaten each other across social media. So we go out to the families, again, unaggressively, just go out for information, and we think your young person is in harm's way, that they may be shot or going to shoot somebody, so we want to start to intercede and try to get between it. It's hard for an officer to get, or police to get between two people who are intent on hurting each other. So this disrespect or whatever it is that this person's angry about, if you're intent on waiting for somebody, you're going to find them, and it's unlikely that an officer is going to be between you.
How is your, and I say this respectfully, are you pleased with the direction of the police department dealing with the issue of crime and gun violence in the city under Commissioner Ross?
I'm pleased with Commissioner Ross, and I'm pleased with their efforts. Neither Commissioner Ross or I are pleased with the results at the moment, because we met just yesterday. We meet twice a month, and we're having this conversation about what we can do things that we can employ, because we don't want the police to become over aggressive, and in an effort to get this homicide rate down. But we want to do it smart, and we want to do it effectively, and I'm very pleased with my police commissioner.
There are those that would say that the focus is more in the center city area in terms of police patrols, and not necessarily the outlying areas of the city of Philadelphia, that whether it be socio or economic, that there's just a better protection. How do you respond to those people?
I would push back on that. I mean, in East Division we have many officers, because we have the issue of the opioid crisis and the heroin issues that are going on out there, and the other types of suffering that people are homeless and other. So we have a large contingent of folks there. We have a large, very active districts in West Philadelphia and Southwest. Southwest seems to be one of the areas where we're having a struggle with. So I believe that our troops, our police are deployed throughout the city. You may see more in Center City because there are some people on bikes and things of that nature, and there may be more people undercover in other neighborhoods, so that they're not as apparent.
We talked about, and you spoke about just briefly, the soda tax.
Yeah.
There are people that are uncomfortable with soda tax. Here's your opportunity to talk about why you believe the soda tax has been effective.
It is the revenue stream that we can depend on the most to pay for the programs that people want. So, for example, 60% of the people don't like the beverage tax. 80% of the people love pre-K. So in order for us to get to the 80% pre-K, we need a stream of revenue. It cannot come out of the general fund, because there are times, in my experience, during the mid-2000s, when we had a serious recession, our fund balance was down to under $20 million, and we can't sustain those programs with that. And that revenue pays for ultimately 5,500 to 6,000 kids in pre-K. There'll be next year 17 community schools, and then a $500 million investment in recreation centers, parks, and libraries. Because here's the thing: I think every neighborhood deserves quality institutions, quality facilities. They can have it in the suburbs. We can have it in the city. And in order to do that, we have to borrow the money through the bonds and pay off the debt service with the beverage tax. The reason that we picked the beverage tax is, number one, it's not a requirement that you buy sweetened beverages. You can buy water and be healthier, and it's not taxed. And ironically, you know who bottles the water?
Yeah.
Coke and Pepsi. So they're taking water out of the city tap, purifying it, and then selling it to you for $2.50 to $3 a bottle. So I'd be more upset about that than it is paying a cent and a half on soda.
So you feel like the soda tax has been very effective, because now that there is a line item for that revenue stream, would you ever think about repealing it if the voices behind the repeal of the soda tax became louder?
The bulk of the voices behind the repeal of the soda tax are the soda industry. They have the money they have the money necessary to really shape opinion, and I think they've been very effective in mischaracterizing what this program is, and the fact that you don't have to buy soda. You really don't have to buy it. I mean, and the other thing that I guess kind of makes me angry a little bit is they advertise way more in poor neighborhoods than they do in any other neighborhood. And the incidence of obesity and diabetes in poor neighborhoods is rampant. We found through the health department study that in poor neighborhoods, 6% kids are drinking 6% less sweetened beverages, which I think in the long run is very good for them. And you hear some of the retail food people saying that they're losing jobs and the like. I mean, the main complainer about soda tax from ShopRite has opened 2 stores since we had...
But closed one and said that it was... Okay, well, come on and give us the tea, Mr. Mayor.
He closed one, but the reason that he closed it was because the man who owned the building was an older man. He wanted to cash in and sell his properties. He sold the property to a New York real estate firm, and they wanted to renegotiate the lease with Mr. Brown, and he didn't want to do that. He said goodbye. So he knew a year before he started putting those soda signs up that he was leaving that store. The other issue is, and by the way, the new owners of the store just signed a lease with a new grocery store, a new supermarket.
And we'll be reopening a grocery store.
A modern grocery store.
Okay.
The other owner didn't put any money into it, and an Aldi moved a mile away, opened up a mile away, and people started making their choices.
Politics are tough, huh?
It's okay. I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm a big boy. And I can take it. It's frustrating sometimes, I will admit, and I do get frustrated with the pace of things, with people who don't want things good to happen because they just don't want to see good things happen.
Yeah.
You know, the haters gotta hate,
Yeah.
and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's one of the things I can tell you that I really enjoy watching you just manage the city of Philadelphia. You are very direct, and the days that I've seen you on CNN, I'm yelling at the screen. You know, I mean, I am.
Honestly, it's not just me. I have such great department heads, staff. I mean, people are much smarter than I am, and the people that we collaborate with together and we move forward as a team.